Have you ever been in a conversation where you feel like the other person isn't really there? They're just waiting for their turn to talk. Let me tell you a story about a man named Ethan. Ethan was that guy. He was brilliant, a natural problem solver, always ready with a piece of advice or a clever solution. His friends and family relied on him for answers, and honestly, he enjoyed being the one who had them. But Ethan had a secret flaw, one he didn't even see himself. He was a terrible listener. Whenever someone started talking, his mind would immediately jump ahead, formulating his response, crafting the perfect piece of wisdom. He heard words, but he missed the meaning behind them. He saw problems to be fixed, not people to be understood. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, Ethan was sitting on the couch. His teenage daughter, Lily, came and sat beside him. Her shoulders were slumped, and she had a look on her face he hadn't seen before. "Dad," she began, her voice small. "Can I talk to you about something? It's about school and some of the kids." His aunt nodded, but his eyes were already drifting to his phone, which had just buzzed. A work email. Important. "Sure, honey. Go ahead," he said, unlocking his screen, as Lily started to explain her fears about not fitting in, about feeling invisible. Ethan was only happy. He caught phrases like, "They don't get me, and I feel so alone." In his mind, he was already putting together a plan. "You just need to be more confident," he'd tell her. "Join a club. Find people with similar interests." He was so busy preparing his reply that he missed the tremor in her voice, the tears welling up in her eyes. After a minute, Lily just stopped talking. "Never mind, Dad. It's stupid," she mumbled, getting up and heading to her room. Ethan barely looked up. "Okay, sweetie, we'll talk later." But later never came. That night, Ethan had a strange and terrifying dream. He was at a huge, bustling party. Everyone he knew was there: his wife, his friends, his colleagues, Lily. He had something incredibly important to tell them, something that could save them all from a coming danger. He opened his mouth to shout, but no sound came out, not a whisper. He was voiceless. He tried again, waving his arms, his face contorted in a silent scream. People looked right at him, smiled, and then turned away, lost in their own conversations. He grabbed his wife's arm, but she just patted his hand, thinking he was being affectionate. Her aunt to Lily, his eyes pleading, but she was looking at her phone, a sad smile on her face. In his dream, everyone was talking to him, telling him their stories, their joys, their problems, but no one could hear his silence. He was completely, utterly alone in a crowd of voices. Ethan woke up with a jolt, his heart pounding in his chest. He took a deep breath, and the sound of his own gasp was the most beautiful thing he'd ever heard. He sat up in bed, the dream still vivid in his mind, and for the first time, he understood what he had been doing to others. He had been making them feel voiceless, just like he felt in his dream. He thought about Lily, about the look on her face the night before, and a wave of shame washed over him. He hadn't been there for her. He hadn't even tried. That morning, he walked into the kitchen where Lily was quietly eating breakfast. He put his phone away, sat down across from her, and simply said, "Lily, I'm so sorry. I wasn't listening last night. Please, tell me what's on your mind. I'm here, all of me." Lily looked up, surprised. Hesitantly at first, she started to talk again. This time, Ethan didn't think about solutions. He didn't plan his response. He just listened. He listened to her words. He watched her expressions, and he felt her feelings. He heard the hurt, the loneliness, the fear of rejection. When she finished, he didn't offer a 5-step plan. He just said, "That sounds incredibly tough. I'm so sorry you're going through that. Thank you for telling me." He saw the relief flood her face. She didn't need him to fix it. She just needed him to hear it. From that day on, Ethan became a different man. He still gave advice when it was asked for, but his first instinct was always to listen. Truly listen, with his whole being. He discovered a world he had been missing, a world of nuance, of vulnerability, of deep connection. He learned that the most powerful thing you can offer someone isn't always an answer. Sometimes, the greatest gift, the greatest way to show love, is simply to listen, to let someone know that their voice, their story, and their feelings matter. Because at the end of the day, people don't always need us to solve their problems. Sometimes, they just need to be heard. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that make you think. See you in the next one.